Are you a typical horror or thriller film fan, or have these sort of roles been a step outside your comfort zone?
I cannot do thriller. I can't do horror. I can't do it. I am notoriously a big wuss. I can't do it, which is ironic because I love doing these musicals and I love watching these musicals. So it's a bit like, wait, hold on a second. This doesn't make sense. It is such a step out of my comfort zone, but I love the push as an artist that this genre gives me.
Welcome to Pario magazine, where I chat with individuals who have a desire to create. Today I'm joined by an Australian actress who is currently starring in the theatrical adaptation Evil Dead the Musical. Welcome to Pario magazine, Elaina Bianchi.
Hi, thank you for having a chat with me.
My pleasure. We're here today to chat about your journey through the world of theatre and your latest role as Linda in Evil Dead the Musical. Before we dive into that, though, do you want to give our audience a little intro as to who Elaina is away from the stage?
Yeah, I am an introvert, which is crazy since this is my profession. I love to meditate, I love doing yoga. I'm a very active person. I love to read, spend time with friends. That's me away from the stage.
So, if you are an introvert, how did you discover this passion for, is it dance, theatre, sort of performance art, really?
Yeah, so I started dancing when I was 5. My parents discovered that I would learn routines off the DVDs of Hi-5 that I had at home. And I'd make them sit down on the couch and watch me perform them. So I had memorized the routines, I memorized the songs, and they were like, okay, sure, we should probably do something about this. So they put me into a performing arts studio where I learnt the basics: tap, jazz, ballet. I eventually started singing. I kind of fell into musical theatre by accident. It just kind of happened. And then I trained professionally at Patrick School of the Arts, and that's how I got here.
Okay, so was it initially you were going down the more dance singing path and then the theatre side came just through the studies?
Yeah, so I competed in dance competitions, Eisteddfods, things like that. I would go into state for competitions. Um, and we had a musical theatre class where we would put on a yearly production and it would change every year. And I just loved it so much. And I thought to myself, wait, I want to do this for a living. And I would go and watch all the professional shows like A Chorus Line, Lion King. And I remember sitting in the audience going, I want to do that. Mum, how can I do that?
Very nice. And how has that sort of been as an introvert getting out there and getting up on the stage? Do you find a challenge in that at all, or is it just like separate lives?
It's it's like two separate people. My day-to-day life, I'm quiet. I'm not like, look at me, look at me. So the stage version of me is very much like, who is this? It's like an alter ego.
And then over the years, who have been some of the sort of idols and inspirations, and how have they influenced your performance style?
I grew up with a lot of Bob Fosse, so he is a very iconic choreographer and dancer. That specific style I learnt from a young age. I studied throughout high school and during my diploma. I studied Jerome Robbins, his choreography. I look up to dancers like Chita Rivera. I am obsessed with her strong quality, the way that she dances, and she's proud of almost her feistiness. I love that about her, and I love that she's unapologetic. So those would be my top three
Okay.
that inspire me. Yeah.
Your latest role sees you joining the cast of Evil Dead the Musical. How did you sort of find out about this show, and what was it about the show that made you want to be a part of it?
Yeah. So my agent sent me the brief. I was just finishing my previous work with American Psycho the musical, and I remember seeing the brief going, "Hold on, I've just done this. This is so funny. Like there's chainsaws, there's blood, there's axes, there's horror and comedy again." So I was like, I should look at this. I feel like I'd have so much fun with this project. So I looked at the synopsis because I didn't know the movie prior or the musical. And I saw the character breakdown for Linda, and I thought, wait, I think there's much more to her than just Ash's sweet, loving girlfriend, because that was the only sentence that they had to describe her. And I read her scenes that they gave us to prepare for the audition. And I was like, wait, I see myself in her. I love this. This is very funny. So I auditioned, I got through, I did a callback, and now I'm here.
You mentioned your role in American Psycho, the musical. How was that experience, and did that sort of prepare you somewhat for this role?
Yes, the experience was amazing. It was so rewarding. It was my first professional contract, and it was nothing like other major commercial theatre shows. It was very physically demanding. It required a lot of willingness to give 100%, give different types of offers, and just be silly, which was something that I hadn't done before or fully allowed myself to experience. And also, we were working with props, fight sequences, intimacy scenes. We were working with blood. So I feel like a lot of that experience has prepped me for this. Like, nothing is really phasing me for this show in terms of blood, the fight sequences, the chainsaws, the props. I'm just like, I could do this. I've been here before. I'm ready.
Yeah, the Evil Dead series is known for sort of blending those really violent, gory scenes with the comedy side. How has that translated, do you feel, into this theatrical production?
We've done a very good job at mixing both of those elements, both comedy and horror. The musical is very self aware, it knows what it is. It's as if the first three movies were self aware of how unhinged they are and leaned into it. That's what the musical is. So you have all the iconic characters that a lot of the fans will recognize and they love, but in the musical, they are heightened versions. And there's so much comedy. It's so silly, it's crude, it's just over the top exaggerated, and so is the gore. I can't spoil anything, but there's lots of blood. There's all the fight sequences, the iconic fight sequences, and the chainsaw. So a lot of the fans will be very excited to see a lot of our Easter eggs that are inside the musical.
Awesome. Yeah, and I guess like with the musical theatre side, like knowing, like you said, the self-referential, you can heighten those comedy elements by referring back to those things and breaking the fourth wall a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of the audience members will recognize certain scenes or certain movements, and they'll even, like, a lot of our lines are from the movie. So, as an audience member, that's super exciting because you can go, "Oh my god, I know what's about to be said, or I know what's about to happen." It's so exciting.
And I saw on Instagram over the weekend you were recently rewatching the film. Were you a fan of the Evil Dead franchise prior to learning about this musical?
No, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know that it was a musical. I didn't know anything. So I had told my parents that the brief, I'd gotten emailed the brief, and they were like, the 80s movie, like that iconic movie. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a thing. So I like searched it. I watched all these videos and all the cool things about it. And I was like, wait, this franchise is so cool. I didn't realize how big it was. Obviously, I know now and I love it so much. But yeah, I didn't know anything about it.
Did that add a little bit more pressure when your parents sort of reacted that way?
No, I was just like, oh, this is great. I think I was already used to the fact that I've been in a show that had a cult following. So American Psycho had such major fans that were very dedicated to the style and they had high expectations. So I think I going into this show, I knew that it would be within the same realm. So it didn't make me nervous. If anything, it made me more excited because I knew what to expect. And I know that the fans are going to love it so much.
And you mentioned when you got the brief and saw the role of Linda and you felt that there was more to this character. How did you go about sort of crafting the character and preparing for the role?
Well, I had watched all the movies and clips got to do with Linda just because I want to play homage to what the fans would recognize. I also understand that the musical adaptation requires more of her. So it's a heightened version of her for comedy's sake, and also because it's not on a screen, it needs to be seen from the back of the theater. So Daniel and Brittany, so they are our director and assistant director respectively, we have had conversations about who she is as a person, her upbringing, her character, the expectations she has on herself and those around her. While she is Ash's sweet and loving girlfriend, there is a lot of other things in terms of status and where she fits in the world and where she places people in her life.
And are you a typical horror or thriller film fan, or have these sort of roles been a step outside your comfort zone?
I cannot do thriller. I can't do horror. I can't do it. I am notoriously a big wuss. I can't do it, which is ironic because I love doing these musicals and I love watching these musicals. So it's a bit like, wait, hold on a second. This doesn't make sense. It is such a step out of my comfort zone, but I love the push as an artist that this genre gives me.
And I guess now, like, any role you go into is going to be probably a lot more tame than some of these last two.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, not a lot of shows will I be drenched in blood.
Alrighty, awesome. So finally, where is the best place for people to support you and track your creative journey once the show is over?
Well, obviously, come watch the show. It's a fantastic show. Follow me on social media. That's where I will post upcoming shows, upcoming gigs, anything professionally creative in that world. Yeah.
Yep. And what's the handle for the socials?
My full name, Elaina Bianchi, and then an underscore at the end.
Evil Dead the Musical is playing at the Seymour Centre in Sydney from the 20th of February through to the 21st of March, before you then head down to Melbourne to play Chapel Off Chapel from the 26th of March through to the 12th of April. Head to evildeadmusical.com.au to get your tickets and check out the show. Otherwise, Elaina, thank you so much for taking the time and good luck with the shows.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.